Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home. Welcome everybody to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive, and it's a big week. It's Thanksgiving if you're listening at the time that this is coming out. And if not, well, there's lots of tips here for any kind of social gatherings, how to not be a turkey this Thanksgiving. So I want to get into that in just a second, but I just want to say, if you haven't joined us yet in the Facebook group, The Secret Sauce to End Emotional Eating, that's where I am literally recording this from. So I've got lots of podcasts in there. I hop in there to do some lives and just get you guys the information that is coming hot off the press. So if you want to be the first to know, jump into the Secret Sauce group on Facebook. Also, if you have not yet determined if you're an emotional eater or a food addict or somewhere in between, take the quiz on our website, healyourhunger.com. Jump over there, take the quiz, find out if you're an emotional eater or a food addict or somewhere in between. And why that's important is because there's different steps to take depending on where you are on the emotional eating spectrum. So the emotional eating spectrum is a spectrum I think we're all on, but knowing what your personal score is and then taking the steps based on your score is super important. So jump over to healyourhunger.com, take the quiz, and get moving, girl. Hey, it's time to heal your relationship with food so you can be happy, so you can feel free, so you can feel good in your body, so you can feel confident, you can feel really sexy in the bedroom if that's what you're up to, or that's what you want to be up to. Hey, it pays. It pays to make healthy choices that make your just make you feel good, self-confidence wise, self-esteem wise, personally, interpersonally, and also just be able to hold your head high. If you don't know me, you might not know that I was 50 pounds overweight and felt terrible about my body. And, and honestly, I felt bad about my body even when I wasn't 50 pounds overweight, because as emotional eaters, we have something called fat head. And head is when you judge your body mercilessly, regardless of what your size is. So have you ever had the experience of wishing you were the weight you were at when you hated the weight you were at? Like you want to be that weight again? And you're like, what was I thinking? Why was I so dissatisfied with my weight? Well, my experience is, as emotional eaters, we have fat head, which is we're super critical of our bodies. We don't feel right in our bodies. We judge every little bump, right, and bit of cellulite, and then we waste opportunities to live a happy life no matter what weight we are. So it's not just about getting to your goal weight. My experience is you can't hate your weight to that weight. You can't hate yourself to that weight. You have to love yourself to that weight. So yeah, it's really about dealing with what's going on inside your head, in between your ears, a lot more than what size clothes you're getting into. So that said, I want to get back to the topic because it's a super important topic and especially timely right now. Hello, friends. Hi. So excited to pop in here. I know it's kind of maybe a stressful week for you, an exciting week for you, a torturous week for you, depending on what's going on in your life, who you're spending Thanksgiving with, how you're feeling about who you're spending Thanksgiving with. But I just wanted to pop in with a special message for you about Turkey Day, okay? And not so much about eating. My experience is overeating is the result of how we're living. And so I like to talk at Heal Your Hunger and in the Secret Sauce group, I like to talk about the living problem that leads to our eating problem. So if you will allow me to do so, I am going to talk to you about 10 tips for basically having a happier Thanksgiving, otherwise known as 10 traps to avoid this Thanksgiving, to not avoid Thanksgiving as a holiday, but to avoid the traps. There's things that we do when we're around family, when we're in social situations that make us miserable, and instead of just hoping for the best, instead of just giving no thought to anything but what we're cooking or what we're going to eat or what we're bringing or how we're going to impress people, let's think about how we can make this a really good holiday. What can we do to make this a really good holiday? And so I'm going to tell you the traps, the things not to do, okay? and I'll also tell you some things to do. But I want to talk about, from my personal experience, how to make this a great Thanksgiving and traps to avoid. And I'm actually recording this from my mother's home in Massachusetts, in Concord, Massachusetts. If you're from anywhere in the Boston area, please put it in the comments. But I am here. I arrived here yesterday. I'm already doing some good things for myself. I was super tired last night because I've been traveling quite a bit. I already excused myself after dinner and said, I can't do anymore. I can't talk anymore. I can't socialize. I'm going to go take care of myself and put myself to bed. So that was a good thing. And I also checked the refrigerator. I asked my mom if she has yogurt, and she does. My mom's a healthy eater, thank God. So she usually does a good job of providing good, healthy foods for us. So I realized that my breakfast was going to be okay. She's got some organic apples. She has a banana. What else? She had blueberries. Oh my gosh. I tried, my partner and I eat a lot of blueberries, not a lot, but we usually eat blueberries. And so we usually have blueberries in the refrigerator. So my mom had blueberries. Point is, my needs are being taken care of. I'm checking to make sure my needs are being taken care of. If not, I would have gone to the store this morning. And this is important, right? This is important if we're visiting family, is to make sure that whatever we need in order to be healthy, in order to make healthy choices, we think ahead. I tell my clients, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I can't say I was planning by just looking at the refrigerator, but had there not been yogurt for me for this morning, I would have gone to the store. So that was a little pre-planning. Anyway, I'm sort of digressing, although it's all on topic. What I want to do now is jump into the 10 traps to avoid being a turkey this Thanksgiving. So the first one, super important. Don't make it about you. Okay. Don't make it about you. It's so easy for us to do, right? It's so easy for us to get all up in our heads about, how it's going to go and what it's going to be like and how we look and yada, yada. And oh my goodness, it's not about us, right? It's not about us. It's about what we can bring to the table, what joy we can bring, not what dish we can bring, although that's fine, but it's more than that, right? And so just try to get out of your head and not be self-obsessed. Okay, so try not to be self-obsessed. It doesn't help. It makes us feel isolated. It makes us feel, not connected. So just try to think about how you can help out. It's not about you. Nobody's really looking at you. Just be with, right? Be with. So that's my first tip. And the next trap to avoid is trying to do it all. That's right. You can't do it all. Again, case in point, I had offered to go to the store this afternoon with my mother so we could buy the Thanksgiving food that we don't yet have. And I had fully planned on it, but my sister's here as well. And so she was taking charge and writing a list. And I said, it seems like you got this. Like, are you okay if I don't go to the store? You and mom go. Because, too many cooks in the kitchen or at Stop and Shop is not a good thing. So I said, looks like, you got this. Please, take over. And I'm going to hold back and I'm going to record a podcast. And so she said, that's fine. I'll help out later. But again, we don't want to make it about us. And at the same time, we want to be conscious of our needs. So that's really important and not try to do everything. So, I had some work to do. I didn't want to get stressed out. So I saw a little space where maybe I didn't have to be helping out with the food quite yet. And so then I could get some other things done. But how does this, how does it apply to you and your life? Well, my experience is overeaters are overdoers. Is that true for you? Overeaters tend to be overdoers, which means we tend to take on too much. And so I just want to remind you, again, this is a short and sweet message. I'm reminding you to not try to do it all. Get some help, delegate, ask for help. Don't try to do it all. So important. That just gets us into trouble. It gets us stressed out. And what does stress lead to? Stress eating. Okay. Number 3, how to not be a turkey. Don't worry about what you look like. So important. I mean, of course you want to look nice. We all do, right? That's a good thing. I think I love clothes. I love looking nice. I like doing my hair, putting on some makeup. It's just how I roll. If you don't like doing those things, that's okay too. You have other things that you love doing. But the point is, don't worry about how you look. Nobody cares. Basically, nobody cares. Mark Twain said you wouldn't be nearly as concerned about what people thought of you if you realize how seldom they do. But I know that as an emotional eater, if you're struggling with your weight, if you've put on weight since you last saw your family, or maybe you lost weight, regardless, try not to put the emphasis there. Good or bad, try not to put the emphasis on what you look at like, do your best, whatever makes you feel comfortable. When you show up, however you like to dress, go for it. But then let it go. Just let it go and just be. There's going to be an underlying theme in everything I'm saying, which I think is just to be, okay? Be and enjoy the company. Number 4, how to not be a turkey. Don't project your low self-esteem on others. Okay. Don't project your story. I have found that I've walked into so many traps so many times when around other people in social situations, when I, in feeling bad about myself and being self-critical, I would project those self-critical thoughts on other people. Have you ever done that? Put it in the comments if you've ever done that. Possibly nobody's ever done that, but anyway, that's what I would do. Is I would be criticizing myself or thinking I'm not that much. And then I'd see Sally over there and I'd be like, maybe Sally didn't say hi to me right away. And I'd be like, oh, she's judging me. She's judging me. She thinks I'm not that much, or she doesn't like me. And poor Sally, right? I've already, gotten her figured out that she doesn't like me and she didn't have a chance. She doesn't have a chance. So don't project your self-criticisms, your low self-esteem, your low self-worth. Don't project that on other people. Don't assume they don't like you. Don't assume they don't respect you. That's not fair. Give them a chance. Okay. And more to the point, recognize when you're doing that. Okay. Try to catch yourself in the act of having a story and then giving that story to someone else as if that's their story about you. It's so unfair. It was such a revelation for me when I realized that people don't feel the way I think they feel about me. They don't feel about me the way I think they feel because all I'm doing is projecting how I feel about me on somebody else. Clear the slate. First of all, give yourself some credit and then give them some credit for loving and accepting and respecting you. Don't just assume they don't because you don't. Okay? Deal? The next thing to how to not be a turkey and to avoid the trap is don't bury your feelings. Hello. Don't bury your feelings, you emotional eater, you. Okay? That's what we do, isn't it? So this is time to turn that around. If you're with family, if you have your feelings hurt, or if you're feeling insecure, acknowledge that. Acknowledge that. I mean, a Thanksgiving can go really bad if you are just burying stuff. Like if you're just, you're feeling hurt and you just, muscle through, because we don't just muscle through, we eat through, we stuff through. Okay. So try this Thanksgiving to do it differently, where you stop and acknowledge, oh, that comment hurt, and if there's someone safe that you feel good about confiding in, pull them aside. If it's not too disruptive, pull them aside and say, hey, Aunt Jenny just made a really insensitive comment and I feel really hurt by it. And it could be that it wasn't insensitive, but you are sensitive and you're taking it the wrong way. So whatever it is, when you talk it out with somebody who's safe, again, if nobody feels safe there, then make a phone call, call a safe friend. Okay. But the point is, my clients call your coach or put it in the Facebook group But the point is that we have to acknowledge it. Otherwise we stuff it with food. So work, this holiday on just even if you just note it, if there's no one to call, if there's no one to pull aside, just notice, that kind of hurt, or that stung, or gee, they could have used a better choice of words, or that was a little insensitive. Just note it. There are other things you can do too, which is write about it. Okay. I've been very known to pull out my computer, and jot some things down when I'm feeling upset or angry, so I don't stuff it, right? I get it out. Say it, don't stuff it. Which means if you need to say something, say something. Don't just suffer in silence. If you need to say, hey, that was a low blow, go ahead and say it. I'm in a time in my life, I'm in my 50s, and I'm just sick of stuffing stuff. Even if I'm not overeating over something, I'm sick of being quiet. So I'm more direct than I've ever been. And I might ruffle a few feathers. I'm not rude, but I am kind of direct. People have called me direct because I don't beat around the bush, and I say how I feel. And so it's great. My 50s are great because I've come to the place in my life where I just don't give a damn. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to hurt. I don't want people to hurt me. So I'll just say how I feel. And say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. So I don't say it mean, but I do say it, and that's really important. If I don't feel like I can say it, I write it. Okay. I write it or I tell somebody, but say it, don't stuff it. Okay. So the next thing is, don't compare yourself to others. Ooh. Compare and despair, right? It's so easy to do at holiday time. It's so easy to do when we're with family. It's to compare ourselves. Do I look better than that person? Or, they have this accolade that I don't have. They have this degree, or they're so smart, or they're so knowledgeable. I mean, I can get into it. Put it in the comments if you relate to that. Compare and despair, because what happens when we compare is that we end up feeling bad. We either feel like we're better than or we're less than, and both are traps. They're both traps. They both end up making us feel bad. So don't compare and despair. Everybody's where they are. I tell my clients, don't compare yourself to anybody except yourself and where you were. Think of where you were a year ago. Are you in a better place now? Have you done some personal work on yourself? Is your relationship with food better? Maybe you haven't lost weight, but maybe you're making healthier choices. Maybe you've got an exercise program that you feel good about. You're taking better care of yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to where you were a year ago. Compare yourself, to where you were when you started on your healing journey. Okay. Because comparing to other people, we're all different. We're all different. We all have different, we came into this lifetime with certain baggage, right? Certain imprints, and we're working stuff out in this lifetime. We may have had different, I know we had different experiences in childhood. Nobody is in the same place. You can't compare. It's not fair to compare. Okay. Number 7, don't be a turkey. Avoid this trap by not taking things personally. Don't take things personally. Okay. If you have an Aunt Bessie who does make insensitive comments, but she's 80 and she doesn't know any better because she's, she can't even hear out of one ear, and she's maybe got dementia or whatever. I mean, I had a grandmother who's passed now, but every time I saw her, she made a comment about my weight. She'd be like, oh, looks like you're really gaining weight there, or oh, you look bigger than you were last time. I mean, I was a kid and I was like, thanks, Grandma, and thanks, and it would piss me off. I'd be like, I don't need this. But she didn't know any better. She was just a little old lady. She was a little old English lady, and she didn't know. Like, she didn't know. Of course, I did take it personally because I was an emotional eater and I was super sensitive about my weight, and I was packing on the pounds because that's what I did. But she, I wish I had the presence of mind as a kid. It's hard to do as a kid, but at least as an adult, we can do it. And that is to think, oh, she doesn't know any better. Like, she's just, yapping her mouth. She's no relation to how it might feel as it lands. So just give her grace, give her grace. But if you feel hurt, you got to deal with it. Okay. Don't bury it. I'm not saying don't slough it off like it's nothing. Acknowledge it, acknowledge the hurt if it hurts. But also just know, that people they just don't get it, right? They don't get it. Or they're saying things like they're critical of you because they're critical of them, and if you take it personally, you miss the opportunity to just realize their comments come from their own self-criticism, from their own stuff. So the less we can take things personally, the better off we're going to be, the less of a emotional roller coaster ride we're going to be on during the holidays, and it's helped me a lot. Like when I used to get hurt by something my mom did or said, I came to the point where I'm like, that's just how she is. That's how she is. Like, what? It's got nothing to do with me. So the more you can realize that whatever anybody does, not that it isn't hurt, but if you can at least, try to rise above and see that it's more about them, it's coming from their own stuff, their own wounds, the less you're going to be affected or offended. Okay, number 8, don't try to impress people. Just don't try to impress people. All right. One of my favorite orators, ministers was Eric Butterworth. And I used to listen to his talks at Lincoln Center in New York City. And he, in one of his books, said, when it made such an impression on me, haha, you're going to realize why that's kind of punny. Because what he said, when you try to make an impression, that's the impression you make. And so I just loved that. When you try to make an impression, that's the impression you make, meaning you come off as you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard to impress, and I've certainly done this with my family. I've wanted my family to think I'm funny. I've wanted my family to think I'm cute, and so I've tried too hard. And I've actually had my sister reflect that to me. Ooh, that was painful. She's like, you're trying so hard to have everybody like you. Like, just settle down. Oh, that hurt my ego, but it landed for me. I'm like, oh, you're right. I am trying too hard. I'm trying to be funny. Like, I don't need to be. I don't need everybody to like me. I just need to be me. It's a whole lot less work. Okay, so that's my number 8 tip is don't try to impress people. Like, just be, right? That's our through line here. Just be. Number 9 trap to avoid this Thanksgiving is stick to 3-meal magic. Okay. Or don't veer from 3-meal magic. That's the trap. Don't veer. The trap is veering from 3-meal magic. So don't veer from 3-meal magic. 3 meals with nothing in between, especially at Thanksgiving, is so supportive. I love it. I'll eat breakfast on Thanksgiving Day, and I'll eat lunch on Thanksgiving Day, and I'll eat dinner on Thanksgiving Day. Hopefully, by the grace of God, that's what'll happen. But 3-meal magic has saved me in every single possible scenario of eating. I eat 3 meals with nothing in between, and those meals are generally, equal in size. So I don't pig out at Thanksgiving meal because there's so many choices. It's, I think Thanksgiving is so hard for us because it taps into that very deep rooted fear of not having enough. When food saved our life, which it did at one time when we were kids. Think about it. I mean, when we were kids and we were in pain or we had trauma, we didn't have a lot of options for how to get through it. And food was our coping tool. And not only was a coping tool, it was a survival skill. Eating was a survival skill. So Thanksgiving taps into this, get it while you can. Get it while you can. There's an abundance of food. But it's like, oh, because there's so much food, I have to make sure to eat it. I don't want to miss out. So there's something that gets stirred inside of us that's very instinctual, okay, as emotional eaters. When food once was our survival skill, we eat to survive. That's what we're used to doing. But you don't have to do that in Thanksgiving. There will be plenty of food for days to come. So just eat a regular amount like you would on any other night. Thursdays is Thanksgiving. Eat like you would eat on Wednesday or Saturday. Okay. Is this landing for you? Put a yes in the comment if it is, comment section. Number 10, trap to avoid is gobble gobble. Don't gobble gobble. Don't gobble gobble. Don't gobble, gobble. Okay. So, um, obviously I've already said it in so many ways, but you don't need to. You know how to get food. You know where to get food. There's no shortage of food. Anytime you want to eat, you can eat. Anytime you want to eat pie, you can eat pie. So the point is, you don't need to use Thanksgiving as an excuse to eat pie. You can have pie anytime you want. You can go get it anytime you want. So just settle down, relax, breathe, and treat it like any other day. It's just a day, right? Thanksgiving meal is just one of 3 meals in the day. For other people, it's an opportunity to binge. For other people, it's an opportunity to eat all kinds of things they wouldn't otherwise eat. We don't need that. We don't need that excuse, And what I love to say to people when they offer me things that I really would prefer not to eat, because I know I'll feel better if I don't, I say, no, I used up my coupons. No, thank you. I used up my coupons. Like, I've eaten more pie than probably you've ever eaten in your life, So I just say, no, thank you. I used up my coupons. I'm good. So, and if anybody talks to you like, you're not eating pie, just say, no, it doesn't really agree with me. Or no, I've had enough. I've had enough. Wow. That would be a cool thing to say as an emotional eater, wouldn't it? Just tell somebody you've had enough. Or if that's hard to say, you feel like you're lying, say, I'm good. No, thank you. I'm good. Because you are good. That's not a lie. You're good. So say, no, thank you. I'm good. I love that. So anyway, you are good. You're awesome. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Let me run right through these 10 traps to avoid this Thanksgiving. Number 1, don't make it about you. Number 2, don't try to do it all. Number 3, don't worry about what you look like. You look fabulous. Number 4, don't project your feelings on others. Don't project your story on others. Don't project your self-esteem on others. Number 5, don't bear your feelings. Number 6, don't compare yourself to others. Number 7, don't take things personally. It's not personal to you. People are coming from their own stuff. Number 8, don't try to impress people, because that's the impression you'll make. Number 9, don't veer from 3-meal magic. And number 10, don't gobble, gobble. Don't be a turkey. Don't gobble, gobble. Please leave your thoughts and how you're gonna, what you're most excited about. Put in the comment section what you're most excited about for Thanksgiving. Sending you so much love. Have a beautiful, self-caring day. Enjoy the people. Enjoy the gratitude, and enjoy the abundance. We have so much to be thankful for. Focus on that. Love you. Mwah.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.